Welcome everyone to the OPA call, the once a month call for the Organic Products Associates. Mary and Gary Loomis, who began this organization, chose that name because they could foresee that it was going to be a very large organization and they wanted to have a name that could encompass everyone else too. And so Rob Loomis, who has taken over his parents' business, and he has various ones of his master coordinators run the various monthly OPA calls. And so this month it's one of our turns. And we asked Ashley DeAngelis, key coordinator. She happens to be our daughter, but that isn't why we invited her, because we haven't actually asked her ever before on here. But we thought that this is a topic that she really had a lot to say. And so I do want to tell you a little bit more, though, when we said about Mary Loomis. I know if you get on these calls regularly, you hear different stories about her, but I think this is a really important thing to know. Master coordinator being the top rank in Shackley, but Mary Loomis was what we would call a master communicator. So she had 2 MCs with her name. And the reason we say that is because Mary was exceptional. And those of you who got to know her know that was true. And kind of a few of the tips that I guess I would say that she was especially would hone in on with people is, first of all, she was a great listener. She would bring things up to us years later of things that she had talked about. Another thing that she was exceptional about was asking questions. And, you know, a lot of us in Shackley came to that realization maybe more in the last handful of years, where she was doing it way back when. And she also had a tremendous capability of being able to find out the person's needs in such a way that the person always felt valued. The person always felt like she heard them. So I think those are some really good tips that never die. No matter how we do our business today, those are important things, I think, for us to incorporate in what we are doing. So we are really delighted tonight to have Ashley DeAngelis, key coordinator, as the featured speaker. And she's going to be talking about how she has been building the business all these years traditionally, but how she's also been now incorporating so much more with social media. And I think that some of the things she says tonight hopefully will resonate with a whole lot of you, and most importantly, benefit your business. And Ashley has been in business since she was a very young child, actually, not technically, but when she was like 6 years old, when we first got started in this business, she was doing presentations in our living room to her friends. So she knew she always wanted to do this as a business. And she actually started it right out of college, while she started another major occupation in pharmaceutical sales. And yet she knew that Shackley was where her heart was. So her goal was to be earning enough money in Shackley by the time that she had her first pregnancy. And that's exactly what happened. So she was able to leave something she didn't enjoy to something she loves a whole lot. So Ashley, would you like to do some sharing for us tonight?
I would love to. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak. And I really feel honored to be here to share with everyone. And let me just say, by no means am I any kind of expert. And I do not know a lot of answers. What I do know is that I learned from a lot of other people, and I know how to find the answers. And that's some of the things I'm going to be talking about today. And so most of the things I'm going to be talking about and sharing, I've learned from other people. And I try to put it all together so that it could make it a little more simple for some of us. So before I share my story, I really want to start by saying, you know, many times on a call like this, or even like the mission calls we have or company calls, we hear speakers and sometimes we feel like, yes, but, you know, and some of the information that I'm going to be sharing is about social media and some is traditional recruiting. And I think we have a whole range of age ranges in Shackley all over, especially on this call as well. And we all have different situations in our life and we've all been through different things. So I really think it's important that we just really strive to focus on ourselves and focus on what we can learn and what works for us. I'm going to just tell you a little bit about my journey. I really think it's very important, especially in this business, to not compare ourselves to anyone. We don't really know their struggles. We don't know their stories. And I really just try to bless them and be grateful for their time in their business. And it's really, I think, something that we always need to remind ourselves, right? Because we're going to come into lots of people in many different areas. And I love this quote: don't compare your life to others. There's no comparison between the sun and the moon. They shine when it's their turn. So I really think that's an important thing to think about, because we all have our moments. Okay. So that being said, I also want to tell you a little bit quick about my journey. My mom mentioned that from the time I was very little, I got to see them building their business, and I did my little in-homes for my friends, and I knew this is what I wanted to do. And when they said I had to see the real world and get real experience, I was like, okay, I guess. So I started my job, and I actually started in pharmaceutical sales because I interviewed for all these different types of management type companies, because I went into business and communications because I knew that would benefit me for my Shackley business. And in that occupation, I picked it because I didn't want to sit behind a desk. I didn't want to be in an office. I wanted to be out with people and meeting people. And so at that time, it was a good fit. And, in Shackley, we believe in not just, all natural as much as possible, but there is a place for medicine. So I did that, and I started my business right away because I didn't like it. And I don't want to go back to an alarm going to a business. I want to be able to build my business and my team the way I want to, and on my time. So I started the business within 5 years of doing that. And this at the same time, when I got pregnant with our first child, I was able to stay home. So I've been home with my 3 children, who are now much older, and I've had my business for 25 years, and I love what I do because it's helping people make a difference, right? We're helping people feel better, and we're helping people reach their dreams. And so one of the things I love in Shackley is we all share. I'm a person that says, if I already did it and I can give you what I did and save you time and energy, take it. I don't care. Like, I'd rather save you that time and energy than you have to do it. And so again, some of the things I'm going to share today may benefit you, may not, but pick and choose what works for you, and then get better at it, right? Okay, so this is another one about comparing, and I love this quote as well. Don't compare your life to others, because you have no idea what their journey is all about. And I always say that because, I've had these great goals over 25 years of this business and watching my parents be so successful, and I don't always reach them at the time I wanted. And I have to look at my life and what's been happening and be okay with what I did. But if I want to reach those goals, then I'm going to go for those. And so I've really learned that being consistent in what we're doing, especially recruiting, is so important at this stage in my business, for sure. Once we get to Presidential Master, that's another story. We can discuss it then. But right now, probably most of us on this call, the recruiting is really important. So even as we do these things, it's really important that we make the decision that we're going to focus on the process. While you're learning this social media stuff, while you're doing traditional recruiting, you have to focus on the process and not the results, because those will come. I've been doing a lot of social media for a long time, and I know the results are starting to come now, but it's still going to take time, and that's okay, because that's one part of my reaching out methods. Also, you have to really make that decision that what you want to go for, and know that over time, it's going to continue to be a part of your process. So one thing is recruiting. There are no good or bad experiences, just learning experiences. So remember that when you are starting to recruit, because it's really important to know that everything you do is going to lead you to something. And I don't know about you, but I always teach my team that just get used to hearing the word no. As long as you're okay with that, it's going to happen and you're going to be okay. And that's good. But of course we want to go for those people that want to join our team. So when you're recruiting, let's remember there's a learning curve. Oh, trust me, there's a learning curve. I'm still learning, but things get easier. I had no idea how to make a story in Instagram. And now I can do a story pretty quickly. My husband and I go for a walk and I can whip a story out real quickly. But that has taken a long time. The more you do it, the easier it gets. The next thing is, remember, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person and the wrong thing to the right person. In other words, if they're the right person for your business, whatever you say is not going to make a difference whether they choose to or not. And if they're the wrong person, then it's not going to matter either. So just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, it's a numbers game. This business is a numbers game. What does that mean? That means that you need to figure out what's your number. You need to figure that out as you go in the beginning. Now, when I have an event, I invite a lot of people. A lot. I mean, people are like, okay, I invited 25 people. I did invite my people. I'm like, for me, I can sometimes invite 100 people to get a couple people to come. And I do personal messages to all of those people. So when I have an event, I know that I'm going to take that time. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to take an hour or two, and I'm just going to work on that. Again, at every level in your business, that could be different for everybody. But it's important that you realize that when you are looking for people and recruiting, the more you recruit, the more they're going to say yes and go through your funnel, and the more they're going to join and want to join your team. And the tip is, we always tell people, the only people that don't succeed in Shaklee are the people that quit. So just don't quit, keep going. Also, it's good to remember that being a good leader is also a good follower. So I feel like I lead my team in a lot of ways and where I'm at, but I also know how to learn from other people and take instruction and be able to also grow in that way. So that's a really key point. Also, be coachable. Whoever your mentor trainer is, and if you don't have one, find one, but be coachable. Because many of us have had experience, we've done this, and we're there to help support you, because you're always in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And even people that are at higher ranks, they all have mentors as well. People bounce ideas and support each other. And that's what I really love about Shaklee. And this is one of my favorites. Google is your friend. If I don't know something, I don't know how to make a story, I Google it. I don't have the answers, I Google it. Okay, how do I add music here? Google it. You will get a YouTube video. You'll get someone giving you advice, anything. I'm telling you, the answers are all there. Sometimes you have to reword it to get the answer you're looking for, but that's okay. Google is your friend. Try it yourself before you call an expert that you're talking to, or an expert meaning someone who just knows a little bit more than you, right? But before you do that, Google it. Try to figure it out. How do I make an invitation? Google it. How do you use Canva as an example? A lot of people use Canva in making invitations or graphics. Google it. You'll get a video on how to do it. How do I post a story on Facebook? Google it. Okay, I want to hear everyone say, Google it, right? Okay, so let's talk about how social media is about sociology and psychology more than technology. And I put this here because I really think it also works with traditional recruiting. It's so much about the psychology, getting to know people, being yourself, wanting to know about them and their life and helping them in their goals and their dreams. So even if we're doing traditional recruiting, meaning more face-to-face or individual appointments or meetings or things like that versus working on social media, it's still more about the psychology. So remember that. So in traditional recruiting, I really think this is still very important. We want to make our list, and we're going to go through these a little faster because this has been most people's traditional, but it's important to do both. Make your list. Most people, they say, I think the number is 250 people know. Everybody you knew, you grew up with, your neighbors, your friends, your parents' friend, your husband's friend, your friend's friend, whatever. Make your list. Get your juices flowing. We do have memory joggers if anybody needs those, but get those people down. Doesn't mean you're going to contact all of them. It helps you think of people that you would like to contact. And then you talk with your trainer and you pare that down, you figure out who you're going to connect with, and you start connecting. And you reach out to people and you invite them. And then you present, whether it's a one-on-one, in-home party, an online party is still part of this recruiting as well, because you're still getting them from traditional recruiting. Whatever it is, start presenting to them, then sponsor them. And then whether they're going to be product and you're going to service them or train them as your team. So one of the things I wanted to put here is I like this, we call this the ROMs, reaching out methods. And I think this is really great for more traditional. It even has on here some of the, well, there's one not necessarily, here we'll just even, pretend like that's something else. But so in the recruiting, it has Facebook and I would say Instagram, and I would say those as well. But look at some of these basic ideas. Some people still put ads in the newspaper, or if you belong to a church or a PTA that does ads or something, things like that. You could do ads that way. You could send different direct mail to people, sending out flyers or postcards or letters. And in our business, you can send samples. You can join networking groups, moms groups, service clubs, chamber of commerce. And then again, doing those one-to-one appointments. Lots of ways to reach out to people in person. One of my favorites is bump intos. I love to meet new people. I love to be out and talk to someone, get to know them, and see if I think I would like to invite them to be on my team. So there's lots of ways you can still traditionally reach out to people. So I do encourage that still being a part of your business. But let's talk about social media. We don't have a choice on whether we do social media. The question is how well we do it, because social media is here and I'm sure it's going to stay for quite a long time until there's something else in this world, right? But it is a big part of what we do. So what we need to remember is that social media can take time, and there will be all kinds of different views out there. As I've said, a lot of people might say different things with using social media, but that's why I think it's a great tool to use with traditional recruiting, unless you're going to sit and spend hours on connecting with people on social media, which is fine. People do that and have a lot of success. So remember, it can take some time. I say, watch some other Shackley people, watch what they're posting on Instagram, on Facebook, watch their stories, their posts, follow internet experts. One that I follow, his name's Brock Johnson. He does an instant club hub, it's called. I don't join the club, but I watch a lot of his posts. I learn a ton from him. And you could listen to podcasts, people teaching you all the time, and YouTube videos. Again, it's just, they're all over. So you can look at any of those areas and learn every day. Tell yourself you're going to spend 15 minutes learning a little more. And you're going to want to really start picking some different platforms. Check out this quote I found. Love it. Don't believe everything you read on the internet just because there's a picture with a quote next to it. And look who wrote that. Yeah, no, right? Not Abraham Lincoln. So that one just cracked me up. I had to share it and hopefully gave you a giggle, but it's really important to know that. Don't believe everything that you're seeing on the internet. And if you see something that you question, go look it up. There's ways to find out if it's true or not. But what I recommend is really picking one or two platforms if you're new to social media. A lot of people are sticking with Facebook. There's a lot of great things still about Facebook. And a lot of people are really loving Instagram. And a lot of people do both. So those are generally, I would say, most people's top two platforms, but figure out what you're comfortable with and what you really want to get to know, and know that you don't have to be perfect. And sorry, Mom, I'm going to throw this out there, but my mom is learning the internet, and she will post something on her story on Instagram, and I'll call her and go, Mom, you have to delete that. And because it will be something like turn the wrong way or cut off, or and I mean, she's doing a great job and she's getting a lot of them, but you know, I would have somebody else watch if you're new to it and have them kind of make sure that you're doing it correctly. But there are ways to delete it. Just know that. Even though I always tell my kids, everything you put out into the internet cyberspace world is there forever. Forever. So be careful what you post. Okay, check this out. I love these statistics. This is talking about digital around the world. How many total population, how many mobile phone users, how many internet users, and how many active social media users. That's a lot of people. There are plenty of people out there for all of us to recruit. And that's why social media is such a great recruiting tool, because even though, let's say, we're just focusing on the United States and Canada, you can reach so many more people across the United States and Canada on social media than you can face-to-face, right? So just keep that in mind, that it's here to stay. So we really want to keep up those opportunities. Okay, this is important, and this lends itself to what I just had said about, so conventional marketing wisdom long held that a dissatisfied customer tells 10 people. In the new age of social media, he or she has the tools to tell 10 million. Think about that. If something you put is unsatisfied about something, and it gets shared and shared and shared, and it can reach, boom, in seconds, millions of people. So it's really important to be careful of what you post. And I think it's really important that I'm a big believer that we don't necessarily want to post political things. I think that can get a lot of people into trouble, and you're allowed to have your own thoughts. I'm just throwing that out there, that if you're doing a business and you're using your social media for business, I would be careful of what you post in that realm. Okay, that's my 2 cents on that. But when you are on social media, you want to friend people. You don't want to just out of the blue friend people. You want to find people that you have a connection with, friend them, or on Instagram, you can just follow them. You want to start connecting. And what that means is you want to start liking, commenting on what they're doing. You want to show engagement in that. And what's really important to know is that there's algorithms that none of us have control over on Facebook and Instagram and any of them. And I'll tell you, it is tough, and it's tough to keep up with. And yet, again, it's one of those things that's, again, here to stay and continually changing. And that's what's so annoying, because you learn one thing and then boom, it changes. So what I know now, one of the things that I know is that when let's use Facebook for an example, because that's the one I can refer to the most, is if you like somebody's post, that's great. Like posts, that's important. Now, that's going to show Facebook that you are wanting to interact with that person. So you're going to see their posts more often. If you start thinking about it and you think, wow, I haven't seen that person much on Facebook, go to their page, search their name, go to their page, and see that they have been posting, but maybe you hadn't commented for a while, so they weren't in the algorithm and they weren't popping up for you. Another important thing to know is if you want something to be shown, like for instance, if you post about an event, say we did an event recently on allergies, and you want that to show up, you post that, and then hopefully whatever team you're on, your team will rally behind any of your posts and comment. And by comment, I mean say, oh, I'm so excited for this program. I've heard that you have to have 4 words for it to really count. So I still try to do that. It's not always easy to do, but the important thing is to respond back. The more you respond back, that will keep it in circulation and keep it popping up and showing people what you posted. So if someone posts, I'm excited for it, you say, thank you, hope to see you there. And then, you know, you want to wait if someone, like, you want to kind of space it out through the day, because that algorithm is going to keep that in your feed, which means more people will see your event about allergies. Hopefully that made sense. If not, I can answer questions when we're done here. But I just think that it's important that we really stay connected. You want to stay engaged. You don't want to just post something and expect people to come to you. It's when you are commenting, friending, liking, being engaged with people that are going to have people then start engaging with you and help you to grow from there. Okay. Next one. Don't say anything online that you wouldn't want plastered on a billboard with your face on it. And that's what I mean by be careful what you say, because it's always out there. And I tell my kids that all the time, because I really think it's important, and I think it's important for all of us. And even if you delete it, it's probably out there somewhere. So when you're posting, there are stories on Instagram and Facebook. Hopefully you know that. They're the little, on Instagram, they're the little circles at the top, and on Facebook, they're rectangles on the top. You can look at the stories. Then there's also the posts that are on your main feed on both. Okay. So what's the difference? Well, what I've been taught is your stories are things that are happening throughout the day. You're posting them there throughout the day. Experts say you should post at least 3 times a day. And some days, for me, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. It just depends on what's happening. Those are only up for 24 hours. So remember, people are only seeing it for 24 hours and then it's disappeared. So we have an event coming up tomorrow, and I've been posting about it, but I'm going to post about it again tonight, because then it'll be up for another 24 hours, and it'll, you know, maybe a little different post to get other people's attention, or if someone missed it. Now the post, most people say you want to do that at least once a day, which is the main post. And what I've learned with that as well is any of the postings, you want to really think about, you should really have some goals that you're wanting to inform people, entertain people, engage people. You don't want to just put up, you know, anything. You want to have a strategy. Now, I share a lot of personal stuff. I have a lot of family at a distance, and I share about our family. And I do a lot of that personally. Honestly, if I wasn't using social media for so much business, I don't know how much of that I would continue to do, but I need to put personal stuff out there, because you got to have a balance of personal and business. You don't want someone, you know, just fire hosing you and all their business. You really get annoyed with that and sick of it, and you block them or you hide their posts. You want people to want to see your posts. So you want to share about you, about your life, and things that can entertain them or inform them or helps them to engage with your life. So I think that's a really great way to look at it when you're posting stories or posts. Now, the best way to get engagement on social media is to be engaging on social media. Again, meaning commenting, liking, helping people to see what you're doing. You just do it. Just go through, spend 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening, and go through, looking through, and watch what people are posting. If someone says their kid's sick, you hope their kid's feeling better, and then, you know, put them, write and make yourself a note of who that is, and then go back to them the next day and say, hey, I was thinking about your kids that's sick. I have something that might help you. As an example. Be engaging, getting to know people, getting to meet people. You really want to put that out there so that you can show them that you can be of service to them. So continue to be engaging, and really just start engaging. If you're not already, start going on to your whatever social media platform you choose and getting to know people and letting them get to know you. I love this one too. Engage, enlighten, encourage, and especially be yourself. Social media is a community effort. Everyone is an asset. And you know what? If you don't like something someone is posting and they're negative, you can hide them. You don't have to see their post. You can hide them or unfriend them. That's okay. Personally, I just scroll past a lot of people. if I don't want to see their negative stuff. Doesn't bother me. Okay, I'll just scroll past. I want to be engaging, enlightening, encouraging to others. And I want people to see what my life is like, because that's just who I am. So use that as part of what you're doing when you're using social media. Okay, I think this is pretty cool. Remember, it's a dialogue, not a monologue. And some people don't understand that. Social media is more like a telephone than a television. How cool is that? Yes, there are things we want to go watch. TikTok, you know, my husband loves watching positive messages on TikTok, and he'll go and he'll send them to the family and we'll watch that. So yes, some of it is like a television, but if you're wanting to engage and get to know people, use it like a telephone. Direct message people, start conversations. So I found this in Forbes, and I thought this was pretty cool. 5 ways to engage with consumers on social media. Pull back the curtain. Customers want to feel like they have a relationship with a brand. And you're your brand. You're showing who you are. And that's, again, why I do a lot of personal stuff, because I want them to see who I am and how I do my business in the cricks and corners of my life. Teach your followers. As we're having things, we just came out with our collagen 9 sticks today. Why are those important? Why is our collagen different than collagens on the market? And teach them, educate people of why things are different. Make them laugh. I mean, who doesn't like to laugh? They always say, what, laughter is the best medicine, right? So if you find something funny, as long as it's not derogatory towards someone else or rude or anything like that, share it. Give people a chuckle. Share interesting content. Now, that's, you know, there's some great things with that. I mean, even some of these quotes are, you know, I think interesting when you're talking about people on internet, and show things that people are like, huh, that sounds cool. And they want to continue following you. They want to learn from you. They want to see what you're doing. Now, it did say to sell products. And yes, we are all in this business because we want to sell products and we want to find people to join our team. What I say is I do that very little, but like, for instance, collagen came out. I'm going to post about the sticks and I'm going to put, you know, information. I personally don't put a link to go buy it because I'd rather talk to someone first so I can help them to get the best offer of what we're offering now when they're placing an order. So that's personally what I do. But the best way to sell a product is show yourself using it. Order the sticks and then show them putting the collagen into your protein shake or into your coffee or mixing it with guacamole, whatever you do. Show people what you're doing. And I'm learning a lot that on a lot of these social medias, lives are the way to go. I personally am pushing myself to do more lives because I get more interaction when I do live. So I'm really gearing myself up to do them. So think about that too. If you're ready for that, go live. Keep it short, sweet, and to the point, but share from your heart and create a strategy to move forward. Personally, I think that post randomly every day. Shackley does have a social media calendar in the back office that you can go look at, and they give you some ideas of what to post every day. But create a plan. Get a friend, sit together, come up with a plan, what you're going to do on your social media. That's definitely helpful. Okay, just remember, don't use social media to impress people. Use it to impact people. And I think that is most important. Let's go out, let's make an impact. And social media is such a great way that we can make a positive impact, I should say. I would love to put that word in more so, a positive impact. Okay, that is everything I have to share tonight. I'd be happy to take any questions, or Mom, if you want me to clarify anything, happy to do so.
Well, first of all, thank you for so much great information, and your quotes are just fabulous. Couple things I just wanted to mention, and then of course, I think we definitely want to be able to answer questions, and hopefully some people have some things that they either want to add or find more out about. But you mentioned things like when you are going to try and engage them, and you brought up the importance of asking questions rather than telling them something. Ask another question so that you can keep the conversation going with them. But that was a great point. And I love the entertain, educate, enlighten, be yourself. That was great too. And you mentioned too about the importance of giving value, share really good content that could be something that they will really appreciate. And certainly the importance of having a real strategy. So this is a great method to be used, incorporated in your overall strategy. So how about any questions? Thank you so much, Ashley. Questions?
Ashley, Ray Madoran, I do have a question for you. When you're following somebody or you're commenting on their posts, like that they had a child that was sick and you said, hey, I'm so really sorry about that. When you get back to them, do you message them?
That's a great question. Yes, I do personally message them.
Okay.
I don't do it on the page, or I'll say, I might have an idea for you. I'll message you.
Okay.
And then I personally message them. I think that's definitely an important way to do that. Mm-hmm.
How do you get their phone number? Do you talk to them? Do you want to talk to them, I assume?
That's a great question. And I think that is sometimes the challenge in traditional versus non-traditional recruiting is I don't have a lot of people's phone number. A lot of people that I'm on Facebook friends with, I don't have their phone number. So it is usually it's still a conversation. Then you say, you know what, I would really like to just talk. I could give you more information that way. And then you set up an appointment. I mean, my goal is always to get an appointment first.
Yeah,
I do
sure.
very little information, via messaging. I really just go for the appointment, and then usually we do a Zoom.
Okay, good. Ashley, great information. Thanks for tonight. That was really good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Maybe she did a good enough job, but there aren't questions, but this is a great time to ask them. We have.
I got a question. So if I'm a new person, as I understand it, there's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Which one should I do, or should I do them all, or what?
That is a great question. And I do think that is something that each person has to consider what's best for them. I would say majority of people that have started on Facebook, that stick with Facebook then and get to learn that. Generally, a lot of people do Facebook and Instagram. Those are probably the top two. There's so many others out there, and you can Google different things and what works for you. But, there's so many people out there that we all don't know that there are enough people for all of us. And, as you're watching other Shaklee people, and I do caution you, pick a couple people to watch, but remember, as you continue to watch those people's posts, their stories, Instagram and Facebook are going to say, oh, you want to see more of their stuff. Oh, you want to see more of their stuff. So you're going to start seeing that. And remember, your goal is really to find new people. So that's why you want to only concentrate on watching a couple people, and then you can, kind of look for other people. And that's why, sometimes people friend other Shaklee people, and some people don't friend back in the for a while, because you're looking for new people. I mean, that's the point of using it for recruiting.
Ashley, I have one other question. Do you have two pages? Do you have a business page and a personal page?
I do not.
Okay. All right.
This
think
is a
about that?
topic that we went through you can ask my dad. When Facebook came out, we questioned this more than you can ever imagine, and kept going, should we be doing business? Should we only have personal? And oh my goodness, I still sometimes question it, but here's the thing I think about. I don't have time to do both. because if I'm doing just business, I'm still posting my personal stuff. And
Yeah.
if I'm doing personal stuff, I still want, maybe family and friends to see business stuff. So I was like, you know what? It'll work itself out somehow.
Yeah, well, I think you really explained that, because you are doing both personal and business, because you're telling people about yourself and your kids and what's going on. Because I see that because I follow you, obviously, and stuff. And so, you only need one page if you're going to do both on the personal page. So I think that's great.
Well, and also I would say that I do have a business, I guess it's called a business page, but it's just like its own, like I have a company that posts for me. So I don't really post on it. I just check it and respond to people and that kind of thing. I don't use it. I just let some business posts just keep posting, because then people know that it's only a business, it's a business page posting, but it's not my traditional, name page, I guess you can say. Okay. Any more questions?
So when you say post something, and I'm going to start tomorrow, am I just going to post a bunch of words, or do I want to take a picture of my garden, or what?
That's a great question. What is the biggest thing is you really want to do what you're most comfortable with, but on like Instagram, it's really, you have to do a picture. Sometimes it's a quote and things like that, but it has to be something like that. And the other thing is, on Facebook, you could do both. Some people just put words, some people put pictures, whatever. I typically, when I'm posting on Facebook, I still put a picture of some sort or something, because I think it's more pleasing to look at than just reading something. So it really depends on what platform you're on, because on TikTok, it's videos.
Well, how about a Facebook Live video? Like I've done occasionally,
Yes.
done a Facebook Live video of drinking my protein drink.
Yes. And those are awesome. And those are great, because you're getting on, you're talking about your drink. They're short, they're sweet, and they're to the point, and you're sharing and entertaining, because sometimes you show what's out in nature. And so that's always fun. And so, yes, Facebook Lives are great. People can watch while it's live, but then it's archived on your page, so they can still go back to your page and watch it even after it's over. So also doing some videos. Sometimes I'll record the video and then I'll post it. So it's sort of like a live, it's just not live, but I'll still post a video as well.
I think you brought up a good point with Dad's videos, because I can't tell you how many people in person have brought up seeing the videos and how much they enjoy that. So good point. I wanted to mention one other point that you said that I thought was a really biggie. And that is when you said that you're deciding if you want them on your team. Isn't it great to think that you have that choice? We don't have to work with everybody. We don't have to feel desperate that we're just out there wanting to find somebody, but we're looking for that person that's the right person that we can have a connection with, a relationship with. We know we can benefit them, and they'll benefit our business as well. So I thought was a really good point.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay. First of all, I love following you, Ashley. I love watching your family. You're very inspiring. You always put a positive twist to everything. So in a world where there's a lot of negativity, you're somebody that is very attractive, especially for somebody like me to follow. Could you give us a real life example, perhaps? I know there's a learning curve, but, has something happened over time where you've met somebody and you've built that relationship on social media? Because what I find is that it's difficult to build a relationship on social media. So I was wondering if you could give us a real life example of somebody perhaps that you followed or how you build that, just for somebody like me who needs that kind of step-by-step illustration. And maybe that would be of value to other people. You know what I'm asking?
Absolutely. And it's a great question, a great point. And I'll do that in two parts. One thing that I did is recently I posted on, there's a national day every single day of the year. You didn't know that. And it's not just one thing, it's like 10. It's like National Sock Day and National Banana Pudding Day. I mean, it's crazy, and literally like 10 different things. So I don't know where I came up with those two, by the way, but so it was National Work from Home Day, and I happened to see it. I happened to look up just some ones that I might want to post on. And I was like, okay, I'm posting on that day. I found this picture of me working on vacation at a desk. I wrote a little post about working at home and how some of the benefits and how I would like to, I'm looking to build my team, that kind of thing. And then I shared it on my Facebook and Instagram. And a friend of mine from high school, who I had been friends with online for a long time, he's used a little products here and there. So he's a member, but he's just used a little products. And we've talked about the business here and there. And he's like, no, I just, just refer you, whatever. So he shared my post on his page and said, if you want to work from home, Ashley has a great opportunity. She's awesome, whatever he said. And somebody said, that sounds great. That's really cool. They messaged me, said I would like more information. And then I took that and said, okay. And they sent me their phone number. I didn't even ask for that. But and we set up an appointment. We did a Zoom. We did 2 Zooms, and she signed up and she's starting the business. So, that's the first time something like that's happened for me. So that was pretty awesome. But again, it's because I'm consistent. Now, I'm not consistent posting on Facebook once a day. I'm not, I try to do the stories 3 times a day, but you know what? Today, I didn't get to do 3. I was working for tonight. My husband and I have been walking a lot, so I've been posting our walks because we're doing these really long walks. And so sometimes I post more than others, but as long as you're still staying out there and out there for people, that's what's important. So what I've been doing is trying to start messaging people, and some people respond, some people don't. As they respond, I start a conversation, and my goal is to get an appointment. That's my goal. So it depends which platform we're on, but we start a conversation. I ask about them, what they do, what their story is, and then they usually ask about mine, and then we go back and forth, and then we set up a kind of an appointment. And if they're interested in hearing more on more of the if it's more of a social connection, I really try to find a need. So I try to ask questions that brings out a need, whether it's health, it's energy, wanting to stay home, extra money, whatever it is, and then say, I might have something, would you be open to talking? And then getting their phone number or setting up a point. And there are so many people in Shackley right now that are really looking at posting more and using social media, because a lot of the new people that came from other companies, the thing they keep telling us is, we're not on social media enough. Nobody knows who we are. So there's so much opportunity. And that's why a lot of them came, because they felt like it was almost ground floor opportunity for social media with our company. So there's a lot of potential. And I know personally, I have really tried to be consistent in that connection, because I know it's going to happen. I really believe that it's coming. So I'm going to stay at it because I know that it's possible.
Terrific. Anyone else?
Yeah, good evening. Say, I was wondering, you haven't mentioned Twitter. Is that something that we can use for social media?
Twitter is an interesting interesting social media platform. I would love to use Twitter as my social media a lot more. I do post on Twitter. I actually have a system that posts. I do a lot of positive quotes on Twitter every day, so many quotes a day, and then I'll go post here and there. Unfortunately, I haven't focused because Twitter's just, it hasn't shown to be great for that connecting, but it's a program that I have a six-figure, or 5-figure followers. So I have a lot of potential there. And yet it's been hard to figure out how to maneuver that. I've done a lot of direct messaging. I don't get a lot of response. I'm not going to give up. I still do that regularly, but unfortunately it's not a great connector as of yet. But if you figure it out, please share.
Okay.
Nobody else talking?
yeah.
Okay, one last point here that I have. Now, I took those protein drinks and I put them in a shaker and I drank it. And there are two ways to do this. You can show the protein can and point out some of the 20 grams, 6 grams of flour, etc. Or you can do it generically. Do your drink and show the protein can and say, this is a fabulous, delicious, best on the planet drink. But they can't see that it says Life Shake or Shackley because my fingers are covering it. So it's generic. So you decide what's best for you.
And in that case, the reason you do that is because you're trying to get engagement and have them ask.
Yep.
Okay. Any last minute? All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for having me and for all your great questions. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You
Terrific.
did a great job. I think we all appreciate it and all learned tonight.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Ashley.
much, and we wish you the best.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for a
all.
great SharePen team. Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night,
you.
everyone.
Thanks, Scott.
Good
Sue.
night, all.
Everyone. Thanks,
Great evening.
Ash.
Bye-bye.
Good night.